Hello everyone and welcome to our coverage of the final event of our HERd SHEries, a ladies category racing series. Today our ladies will be taking on 2 laps of the UCI course in Harrogate, Yorkshire. This is a fastest through segment points race with up to 50 points available on the Yorkshire KOM and the Yorkshire Sprint on each lap. There's also bonus points of up to 100 points for their position on the finish line in their category. And I'm going to quickly switch over to Craig Martin because I believe that the Ds have just set off.
They have, and it looks like a pretty good sized group, and we'll see how this goes. I'm following Kim James to start. We've also got Helene Johansson and I believe Kara McLaughlin for HERd riders that I've noticed so far. So we'll watch them as we go through. So they go through the start-finish banner after the very short lead-in, and we're going to start this course and that nice long uphill drag that we'll see whether this group deliberately stays together or not. I know we've seen other weeks that this D group doesn't tend to.
It is a particularly nasty start to the race. Let's talk bikes. Ben, what are you going with?
Me personally, I would definitely go with the Tron bike on this course. It's going to be fast and it climbs reasonably well. And there's enough descent on this that it's really going to be silly to not use anything else, really.
Craig, same answer?
It's the same answer. I mean, the devil's advocate view is that if you think you might be just behind the group, that extra half second that you get with the climbing rig might get you with the group over the top, but I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, no, I would definitely go for Tron as well. I think the only real advantage you could possibly have with a more aero bike, so your Venge, would be on the downhill. There isn't really any flat to speak of, so yeah, definitely Tron. And just to quickly recap, so this is a staggered start race. The going to go on my time, so the D's set off at 10. The C's set off at 10:04, the B's 10:08, and the A's 10:12. I suspect, given the bumpy nature of this course, would expect the A's to come out on top this week. But we'll have the C setting off in just a minute or two. And just a quick recap of the course. So Craig's mentioned the long drag up, I think it's Otley Road. Which goes on for, I think, about 4 kilometres.
Which is about 3 kilometres too long.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I did this exactly the same route in a time trial last Monday, and it was very, very painful. But yeah, no, so you've got a really long drag. There is a bit of a dip in there, so you do have a drop for probably 30 seconds, and that peaks at around about 6 or 7%, and then it's back to climbing before you hang a right, and then you take a very sharp descent before you turn right again, and then right again towards a bridge, and then up the Yorkshire KOM. You then turn left up another 10% hill, right onto the sprint, around the mini loop, and then back up to the start finish line after doing another 10% ramp. So this is all about big efforts, descents, big effort, descent. There is very, very, very little flat in the course.
Yeah, so watching watching the D's, back to the race for a moment. There is a group, and it looks like a group of about 10, and they are absolutely flying up this hill. And they've put it. There's, I think, 1 or 2 riders off the back of this group, and everybody else they've put a significant time into already. They're going hard.
So I have got start of the C race, and they're just taken off. I have found Ness P from the HERd, and they're just about to turn right onto Otley. So the groups are forming. There's one rider off the front, and then there's a good blob of about 10 to 15 girls in that, which Ness has done a great job to get stuck into. So they're away.
And a quick recap on the rules. So this is a fastest 3 segment points race. There are 4 classified segments. We've got the KOM on lap 1 and lap 2, and the sprint on lap 1 and lap 2 as well. So within their category, they are looking for the fastest time. So it's not first over the line. And so if you set the fastest time on one of these segments, you will score 50 points. If you set the second fastest, you'll score 49 all the way down to 1. And at the finish line, there are first over the line points for where you finish in your category. So first place will get 100, second will get 98, all the way down to 50th, who would score 2 points. And the number of points that you accrue over the course of the race will determine your finishing position. Craig, how are the D's doing?
So they are strung out. I'm not sure how many are going to make it to the top here. They're getting close, but actually, I think they're at the top. But it's there's some people a little bit off the back. It looks like a group of 8 or 9 that are going to get back together here. But that was a very fast ascent of that climb, and we've got a couple riders way off the back. Just on the first climb. But the race has stuck together pretty well to this point. So this is interesting. It looks like a little bit of team tactics among some of the teams, where there were teammates rotating on the front and dropping back for each other. So interesting to watch.
Yeah, it sounds. And Ben, looks like the C's are sticking together quite nicely.
They are indeed. So there's a big group of girls here. It is fairly close to single file. They're definitely going after it. Lots of 3s, even some 4s being seen in the power column. But they're blobbed fairly well together. They're pushing on. And yeah, they're really going after this. This is a hard effort to start this race. A few little splits forming here. As myself, larger rider, I would be quite scared some of these little splits.
Yeah, it's such a tough start to a race if you are on the heavier side. And to be honest, it's hard no matter what you weigh. But yeah,
I've definitely been in races where my entire race is over after the first, just trying to get up this, which causes a lot of swearing. But it's a tough start. It's going straight out of the gate at 5-minute power. And then hold it. It's a big effort as opposed to a normal Zwift race.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you touched on, I wouldn't say the outcome of a race can be decided in the first 5-10 minutes, but certainly the race can be over for a number of people on a normal scratch race. The benefit you have in this is that you can go really, really hard on the KOM to score some decent points. Obviously, for sprint, you need the draft. The KOM is definitely draftable. It's generally 5 to 7%. With a little flat bit in the middle, but your race isn't entirely over. If you drop the group, you're not going to win it, but you do have some opportunity to score some decent points. And the B's
exactly what we're talking about is happening right now on the C race. So they've just got to the top. There's a group of about 7 or 8 girls that have grouped up going onto the descent now, and there's 4 fighting hard. One of which is Ness, to try to get back onto that wheel. They've got a massive dig to put in, and if they do it, they might make it, but it's going to be tough from here because that gap is 3 seconds and growing.
So Kim is in kind of a similar situation right now. So she's 5 seconds off a group of 8. There's, say, one rider 16 seconds behind, a rider a little over 30 seconds behind. There's nothing much behind her, so she's got to catch what's in front of her. It'll be interesting to see whether that group explodes a little bit on the timed climb.
So the bees are away. They're a kilometre into the race, and they are just starting to see a little bit of an incline in front of them. So I'm sure they'll all be very, very happy to see that. I'm following Lisa Jones today. She sat towards the front of the group. Lisa generally enjoys the climb, so I think she'll probably have a good day today, and we'll see how they get on. How the C's doing, Ben?
So it's formed up into a couple of groups, it looks like. So we've still got that one group out in front. They look like they've come off the gas. They got out to about 10 seconds up. They're now about 5 seconds up. So the chasing groups are closing them down, which is surprising to me, at least. But a couple of the groups forming. They're ripping along. They're almost the first hard right-hand corner to go up past the friendly farmer.
Craig, I'm seeing some expert camera work going on as the D's are over the top.
Yeah, so the D's are away. So that gap is opening up from the group in front of her to Kim. And I guess we'll have to see exactly how that works out for her. I'd been hoping that gap would stay a little bit shorter, and she might make it up on the KOM. It still could happen, though.
Yeah, in the B's, this group, it's starting to get a little bit more single file, but it is still definitely a main group. Lisa is currently in 7th wheel and doing very nicely, just moving up towards the front again. I can see Lam Kong in there as well, and she's won at least 2 or 3 of the races so far. So I think she's probably favourite to take the title, which will be decided at the end of this evening, with the final race happening at midnight my time. So I think it's going to be a late night for me today. You can see Lorraine Gilles also in there right at the front, pushing on. I had a little chat with her husband Tatum yesterday, and the chat was, draft as much as you can on this climb, don't lead it. And she's currently sat 2nd wheel, so doing a good job so far. Lisa's well in there. We are 2 kilometres in, so I think, Ben, I think you take the right-hand turn at about 4?
Yeah, at about 4. So the C's I'm watching, they're just going through 5 and just heading down the pot bank wall. So some serious little... no, it's a steep bit. May not be the pot bank wall, but down through a switchbacky sort of area, clocking 90 k's an hour, so pretty quick. But yeah, about 4 k's that turn. I think the next one, top of my head, is about 7. So, but yes, in the C race, we've definitely got 2 groups now. A solid first group and 10 seconds back, a second group.
Just having a quick look for my notes, and I'll be able to give you some distances to look forward to. So, if Facebook wants to play ball. The primes are, Yorkshire KOM is at 7.7 kilometres, the first sprint is at 10.8, the second KOM is 21.5, the second sprint at 24.7, and the finish line is 27.7. So I'm guessing, Craig, the D's are probably not too far away from that first sprint. Climb, even.
Yeah, so I think the lead group is on it right now. And Kim is on the descent towards it. So she's now 25 seconds back from that group. So that's it hasn't opened up a whole lot more, but we'll see if she's concentrating her effort on the scored segments.
The bees can actually see the right hand turn in front of them, so they'll know the climbing is almost done for about a minute. You don't get much respite on this course at all. There's always another climb just round the corner, but they'll be grateful for the descent. Lisa's doing a great job. Lorraine Ink's in there as well. They're just flattening off before we take the turn, and then there's a tiny incline before they go down the hill. But our girls are doing really well so far. Ben?
It's a course like that, isn't it? It's unless you're descending, you're climbing. There's nothing in between on this one, which is what makes it challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it generally, if you look at power charts after a race, you basically see orange, red, and then nothing as you super tuck, orange, red, nothing, super tuck, orange, red, and it just carries on like that for the whole 2 laps. It's an absolutely brutal course. It's a brilliant course, but it's a really, really tough one.
Oh, it's an absolutely fantastic course. I remember doing a stampede out here, and the remainder of the C group was wondering if I'd gone too hard, which was always interesting.
Yeah,
Our C girls are currently descending down to the KOM, so they're going to be at it very soon. And Ness has found a nice group of 7 to ride in, and she's doing exactly the same as what Lorraine is doing, trying not to lead it too much and trying to sit in it. James?
Yeah, we're just hitting the descent now. Lisa had just poked her nose just in front, but she's now behind a couple of riders. I think her concern is probably the downhill. I'm not sure what the weights of the riders are around her, but I mean, Lisa normally does mixed events, and I know she can struggle on the descents, and I feel lots of sympathy for that. But no, she's right in the pack. Go and pop that wall, and then we will head up towards the right-hand turn where we'll start to go in the vicinity of the KOM. A little bit more descending, a little bit of climbing, more descending, then climbing again. Can you tell there's a theme?
There is a lot of climbing on this course, and it's I absolutely adore this course. It makes you hurt so bad, but because you got all those little short recoveries, you can go so hard. I love it.
Funnily enough, I do too. I don't admit to liking climbing very often or very publicly, but there's this one. There's that one gone. But
especially in the vicinity of me.
This is such a brilliant course. It just genuinely has everything, and I really do like it.
How the D's doing now? How's Kim getting on the hill?
So Kim's having trouble on the hill. So the riders behind her are closing the gap. It looks like the C league group is going to overtake her pretty soon. It looks like she gave her best effort to hang on with that group, and it blew up a little bit. So I think she'll have to recover a little bit and hopefully be able to give an all out on the second lap climb.
And how's Ness doing on the climb?
Ness is doing really well. She's pushing high 2s, low 3s, which is great to see. The C's have just completely strung out. There is no group cohesion left at all. And it's just survival mode, I think, for most of them now. But yes, they're nearly at the point where they can see the banner. So They think they've got the little flat roundabout point to kick through, and then it's onto the top.
Yeah, so Kim can see the banner, and the lead group of C's has just gone past her. So that's what the split is, I think, for the C's, and they are strung out as they're going past.
Look like they're flying as well, actually.
There's some very strong girls in the C group, and they are absolutely kicking on.
The Bs are now just on descent into the KOM. So basically, you go down a 7% hill, hit the bridge, and then hit the KOM straight away. So there's no flat in between at all. They are just approaching the bridge now, and then they'll hang a left-hand turn onto the KOM, and then we will see what happens to this group. Definitely expecting some splits to start to appear. The whole group appears to be together at the moment, but they hit the KOM now, and we'll see how this all pans out. Expecting good efforts from Lisa and Elorinique, but we'll see how they do. Back to you, Craig.
So Kim has gotten together with one of the sea riders for the descent, actually, and is now leaving her behind. But we made use of the draft for a bit, trying to get the speed for the super tuck. And yeah, so she's got looks like she's reestablished a bit of a lead over the girl behind, but there's quite a gap to the group in front. She was quite a bit slower than the lead group of D's on the climb. They were quite fast. So we'll see how she gets on. She's doing well. So she was, I think, 10th fastest over the climb. Currently sitting in 9th.
Ben, I think the C's are over the top as well.
Yes, they are. So Ness is rapidly approaching the hard left-hand switchback into that lovely 10% hit up to the sprint point. Good time for Ness, actually, a 3:47 on the climb. So that's a good effort. Something to definitely go after and try to repeat or beat. And yes, so rapidly approaching the sprint. She's got a couple of girls she's riding with. I'd love to see her in a slightly bigger group, but it is what it is. It's all split up. It's all about what she can do on this evil sprint point.
The Bs have been torn apart. Lisa's in fifth wheel now, 7 seconds behind our leader, and Elorinique is about 5 seconds behind her. So it's still a really good effort from Lisa. She's putting out fours still. She can see the banner. It's not far away, and she's looking like she'll roll over in 5th place with Patterson from the B's just behind, 5 metres back, but it looks like Lisa should hang on to go over in 5th, hopefully, with a big push towards the line. Lisa knows the rules to this race very well, so she'll know she needs to maximise her time as much as she possibly can through this climb. Speaking of which, Patterson is now just on her wheel, which is actually probably not a bad thing if they can descend together and get each other's draft. But Lisa's over the top in a time of 2:52, which is a great effort. Well done, Lisa. Craig, I have lost you.
Hopefully you'll get it back in a second.
No, actually, sorry, Craig, I haven't lost you. I've lost Ben.
Oh,
No, I haven't lost Ben. Sorry, I'm getting my C's and D's confused. Yes, Craig, we're back with Kim. How's she doing?
So she's doing pretty well. So she's on the sprint point right now, but not really going for it too hard. So I think I'm thinking she's kind of blown up a little bit and is in survival mode here.
Hopefully she can catch on with the C's who have just come past Kim for the sprint point. That was Ness.
That was.
And a PR, 20 26.65 personal record for Ness. So that's a great effort there. As I said, I find that a horrid sprint point. It's uphill all the way to it, and it's uphill all the way through it. Whoever said that does not weigh 100 kilos.
I think the other direction's even worse, because I think it's like 400, 450 metres, which is definitely on the uncomfortable side of a sprint.
That is true. So it's yes.
So speaking of the other directions, I do need to advocate for the Pump Room 8 here that you haven't used in a series in a while. That I really like that one in the points racing.
I was actually thinking about that. Loop here.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that yesterday, actually, because you got KOM in both directions and you've got the sprint in both directions, but you do also have Pot Bank Wall, which tops out over 20%, which is unpleasant on the knees, shall we say?
Just drop the training difficulty and just get stuck in.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be trying to do that race.
What I like about the Pump Room 8 is that it's the forward climb, then the sprint, and then the reverse climb, all in quick succession.
Speaking of sprints, Lisa is just coming up to the start of it. She's currently in 10th position. There was a big group that she was with, but they've just gone off the front by a couple of seconds in front of her. But no, she's hitting the sprint now. What's in the 300s? Sprinting probably not Lisa's favourite part, but she needs to try and kick on here if she can, because she needs those points. She's going along at 5 watts a kilo, just coming up to the line now. And it is a time of 23:26, which puts her 15th. Looking to see if I can see any other HERd times in there as well. Not immediately obvious. Alarinik set a PB of 24 seconds, so slightly behind Lisa. But the Bs are so strung out now. Struggling to see any groups at all. Lorraine is 2 wheels behind Lisa, but 14 seconds back. Patterson from Watbees, who is training her up the climb, is 3 seconds back. They might come back together, but there are gaps absolutely everywhere. Ben sees.
Same story. Gaps absolutely everywhere. Ness is doing really well. She's got company in A Silver from BRT. And M Walker is dangling 3 seconds off the front. And they've just turned on to the finish straight, Ness has just absolutely gobbled her up and gone straight past. So, long line of riders in front, long line of riders behind. See what happens if they start coming back together. I suspect it's going to be a lonely ride for the rest of the way for nearly all of them.
Now we've had the KOM and the sprint. I'm just going to quickly touch on what we have to look forward to in the next series. So the next series will start next week. We'll follow the same format. So we'll have a time trial up Bologna Hill. And then we'll have our 3 shorter scratch races. So we've got 3 laps of Volcano Circuit counterclockwise, followed by a single lap of a Richmond roller coaster, and then a single lap of Tour of Trerrit Well back in Yorkshire. Then we'll go on to our points races with a single lap of Figure 8. So you've got the Hillycombe in both directions and the Watopia Sprint in both directions. And then we have Chain Chomper for 2 laps, which I believe features the Country Sprint, the Temple KOM, and I think it's the Castle KOM. So that's one of the new courses. Both the climbs are 6 minutes-ish. and it's a short sprint, so we'll look forward to that. And it's an interesting one in terms of bike selection because the first half of a lap is on tarmac and the second half is gravel, so be interesting to see what our ladies choose to ride. Just touching back to the Bs, Lisa is in 10th place. Patterson has overtaken her and pulled out a 5-second gap. And Lorraine is 5 seconds behind Lisa, so our two HERd girls could well get together and try and help each other up the climb. But shortly coming up to... Actually, sorry, no, we're still in the mini loop before we turn left towards the start-finish line and a little ramp before then. So
I just want to jump in. Ness is definitely a carrot rider. She has got this long line of riders in front of her and has just taken it personally and has decided to do what she can to put them all behind her. She's been consistently holding 3 watts a kilo, which is a great effort. She's now on to Otley and absolutely just cruising up at 3.3. So this is a fantastic ride and great to see.
So Kim is Kim's onto Otley as well for the second time and is getting on. So she's all by herself a bit and went through the first lap in 29:20. So good on her. And James, how's the bees?
Yeah, just coming up to start-finish line. Lisa's found a group of 5 people. Elorinick's in there as well. They can see start-finish line, and they will be going under shortly for the second lap. And let's talk about a 2-lap race here and that 5% drag up Otley Road on the second lap, because that's always painful.
Well, it's painful the first time, not like the second. So... But this is comes back to what I was saying earlier. I'm not sure if I actually got it out properly. This whole course is just a VO2 workout. You go to your VO2 max effort, you hold it for as long as you need to, 5 to 1 minute, whichever climb it is, and then you've got 30 seconds, 45 seconds to recover to do it again. This is the thing that always offended me about this climb, is it's the longest one, and in-game it's not rewarded.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. I think it's probably the hardest climb that you can do on this course, apart from maybe Potbank Wall. But you get nothing for it. They need a KOM segment on Otley Road.
Yeah, it definitely does need to be a KOM segment, and I think now we actually have a few others in game which are only one direction, so it wouldn't even be setting a precedent anymore. So, because nearly every other KOM in game is both ways, but we've got Petit Com and definitely some in the new Makuri Island world, which are all one way.
We've also got the Alp Zwift and Ventop, which are both one direction. But yeah, no.
I have heard Ventop being all 3 directions, but that would just be nightmarish as far as I'm concerned.
That would be an absolute dream, and I would take so much pleasure in putting that route on.
We know.
You'd be base camping on one race.
That would be insane.
I'd do it.
Oh, yeah. I think there'd be a sudden influx of people who manage to do the base camp. But yeah, no, that sounds particularly horrible. But wouldn't it be great? Just back to the bees. Lisa's still with a group of 5 here. Got Patson from What Bees. Got Lorraine Ake in there as well. Kate Garrett. and R. Bichard. Both those last two Americans. Well on the ramp. See how they get on. My companion app's decided that it doesn't want to show me where on the map they are anymore. So, but they are well on Otley Road. How the C's doing, Ben?
Really well. So Ness has made up about 4 or 5 positions on that climb up Otley. So she's done a fantastic effort here and looks like she's prepared to fully kick on. She's found another BRT rider to ride with to the KOM. So she's 17 Ks in. The next rider's up the road. Looks like the front of the group of C, which should be the front of the race today, which is an impressive effort. 20 seconds up the road. So how's D going, Craig?
So Kim's doing very well on that second ascent of Otley. She's caught and already put a couple seconds into one of the riders that got away from her on the first lap, and the lead group of Bs just went by her right as she was making that pass. So she's up into 8th place and getting on pretty well. She looks pretty comfortable. I mean, doing Otley Road a lot slower than they did at the first lap, but definitely holding good power and just over the top.
And the B race will be turning on now, wouldn't they, James?
Sorry, I'm just having a mini crisis, having lost Lisa. Just trying to get her back.
Sorry.
So it looks to me like Lisa and Lorenique are both just about 15 seconds behind Kim, so just cresting the top of the climb.
It'll be interesting to see if and when the front of the B race gets up to the front of the C's, because that would be a massive effort. Not unexpected, but it'll be interesting to see how fast it happens.
I think they're going to do it today. Yeah, well, I think they're going to do it today. They're only it looks like they're only 3 minutes back. There's enough climbing on this course that I think it's going to happen.
And with about a 35 to 50 second-ish gap on the main KOM, that's probably well doable for the top Bs.
Yeah.
Can I just also mention how evil most of these little corners are? You expect you're going to get a little bit of respite, and they're all little spicy corners, little 3 and 4% gradients going through the corners, which is never appreciated. Fantastic.
It is
Harrogate.
It is, and it's there's lots of climbing, but it's so rewarding to be in a group on Otley and everywhere else that's not a climb on the descents and the few small flat bits. It's a very interesting race course.
I actually think it's a fantastic TT course, and James loves to throw it in as part of the Stampede, and I absolutely adore it as part of a time trial. Because if you know the course and you know your own ability and power, you can really, really go fast. So knowing exactly when to come off the gas, when to hit it hard, all that sort of stuff. So knowing how much time and how much power you recover going downhill. Like I've just watched Ness go down the wall doing 2 watts a kilo, and the 2 girls with her super tucked and actually started pulling away. So the little things like knowing 2.5 watt per kilo effort is the super tuck. It's actually more if you're my size.
So I've got Lisa back. Mini crisis has been averted. They can just see the right hand turn coming off Otley Road, and we'll be descending shortly. Still have a group of 5. They've stuck together quite nicely. We'll be descending shortly, 18k through the race, and we're 31 minutes in for the Bs. How's Kim getting on, Craig?
So Kim is pushing on. So the rider she passed on here on the second lap, she's already put 30 seconds into. I'm trying to figure out exactly what her gap is forward, because she's doing really well. So I think she's a couple minutes behind the lead group, but she's closing in on the casualties of that fast front to the Ds, and it'll be interesting to see if she's able to make up any more places.
On that, if we look at Zwift Power Live, it's got Kim at 7th, and what's that? That's 40 seconds in front of her is the next D, being K Maskia from AEO. So Zwift Power seems to be working, which is always a nice change. So
just depends on how
it is. That live tab is, that Zwift Power Live tab is such a great resource, but it's if only it was reliable.
There is that, and it's also fairly slow to update. So
it's
you can watch it.
Normally about a kilometre behind, I think.
It's doing better tonight. It's only about 500 meters, but it's still it could be a little bit better. But who are we to quibble about Zwift finally getting something half right?
Just back to the Bs. They've done the main part descending. They are just climbing up again, and then they'll be taking the right-hand turn towards the KOM. Have our Cs and Ds hit the com yet?
No, they're very, very close though. So Ness, as I said earlier, is definitely a pursuit rider. She's catching groups. She's now 15 seconds back on what's that, 7th place in the race. So she's definitely making up ground. The front of C's has just hit the KOM now. So they're descending down, across the bridge and onto the KOM. Where is Kim, Craig?
So Kim has descended the pot bank and is climbing out. So she's a little back of that C group and of that second B group that Lisa and Lorenique got in. So she's still moving along. She doesn't seem to be closing that gap to the riders in front very quickly, but we'll see what happens as we hit the time KOM. So it looks like Kim's doing pretty well for the second lap.
The our group of Bs are just doing the right-hand turn before we start to get towards the descents, before the second KOM. Still this group of 5, they've stuck together very nicely, and they may have been holding something back so they can try and kick up the KOM as quickly as possible. We'll see fairly shortly.
Yeah, so it looks like the lead A group, if there's more than one A group, but the A leaders are going to come through Kim here fairly shortly. Looks like they're about 20 seconds behind, so that's it's going to be they're moving fast as well. It'd be interesting to see which race finishes first here.
It would be very handy for this string of C's for the sprint point, actually. So that would be fairly similar sort of timing, I would guess, if the A is going to make it. The B train's probably not too far behind us. James, I think the bees are making the right-hand turn onto the first main straight. Is that right?
So Lisa's group's quite a long way behind the front of the bees. They're 21.5 kilometres and just coming down the hill before they go hit the bridge and then hit the start of the KOM. So I suspect the front of the bees are quite a way up.
Right. I can see that now on my companion app. There's Lisa's avatar hooking around the corner now. So yes, Ness is going through the flat right-hander on the com. Let's see how she keeps pushing through here. Looks like she's burnt a lot of energy trying to catch people on the flatter sections. Might not have saved enough for this bit.
Yeah, so Lisa well onto the KOM now, just turning right slightly and well into the climb, holding good numbers, mid fours and seeing some low fives in there as well. So hopefully has conserved a little bit throughout the most main part of the lap and has got something to push on with now. Patterson, who did follow her up last time, is just a few metres in front and is definitely kicking on. Lorraine is just behind Lisa. How's Kim doing, Craig?
So she's super tucking the descent coming into the KOM, and just looks like she's getting ready to attack that. And the A's are going to sweep past her during the time segment. So if there's any, for the brief moment, they're going to be coming past her, she'll get a little bit of draft, but they're flying.
So the front of the B race has just gone through and up onto the KOM. Lam Kong doing a great effort, as is Katie Jury, both absolutely hammering it. There you go, PR for Katie Jury on 2:39, which is a cracking time. So Ness is about to go over the top, see how she goes against her PB. Bunches up around her and escorts her through to the sprint.
Yeah, Lisa's just coming into view of the banner. You can see it on the mini-map and she can just see it on the road now as well, so that'll be a bit of relief for her. Patson's opened up a 2-second gap. Lorraine is 8 seconds back. May well come back together before the sprint, but not far away from the top of this climb at all. And looks like Lisa's trying to bring Patson back in as well, pushing really hard. Got about 100 metres to go before the top of the climb. Craig?
So Kim is pushing on. So she's got 2 riders within a minute of her ahead, but I'm not sure. It doesn't look like she's closing the gap right now. But so that's those are 6th and 7th places on the KOM ahead of her, and she's grinding on. So she's giving a good go, and just seeing the kind of the remnants of the A's and B's and C's come through here as the watts per kilogram tell on the KOM. How's the B's, James?
Yeah, Lisa's over the top and just super tucking down the hill. Splits everywhere as you'd expect. And then before too long we will hang the left-hand turn up the 10% gradient and then get on towards the sprint. So not too far to go for the rest of the race, down to the last 4 kilometres now. Ben, how are the C's doing?
So Ness is doing really well. She's got a couple of B's right in front of her, which is really good news as she's about to hit the sprint point. If she can hold those wheels, it'll be a good, fast effort for her. So, nearly at the sprint point, doing well. She's currently holding 10th. A few of the C riders got away from her on the KOM. but she's doing well. She's climbed well, and she's done well in the sprint. So I'll let you know how she goes and if she improves.
Lisa is just on the ramp heading up towards the sprint. Lorraine is 14 seconds back. And Lisa's got a couple of girls around her, so hopefully they'll come together for the sprint and give her a little bit of draft. But we'll come back to the sprint shortly. Craig.
So Kim's still working on the KOM, yeah. So I checked back, and so we've got as far as a couple other HERd riders, we've got Helene Johansson and Mel Wynn, who I guess shows HERd/Rave, but is racing for Rave. So they're both a bit behind, but still fighting through. Kim is in sight of the banner and pushing for it. So you'll see whether she's able to improve on her time from the first lap or not. So James, Lisa must be getting close to the sprint now.
Yep, very close. She's just taking the right-hand turn before it starts. She is sadly on her own, but there is another rider just in front, so hopefully she can get a bit of draft and see a little kick from Lisa, holding 4.5 watts a kilo. And she's just coming around the right-hand bend and will then see the banner, and that will be the end of the prime segments for Lisa. So now she just needs to focus on her finishing position. She's currently in 9th, through the sprint now, and didn't set a PR, but still a good effort. I think she's tired. Just judging by the way the watts went down after the sprint. But she's with Arbashard, who has just gone past her, but Lisa's just getting back on her wheel. So looks like it's going to be a battle for 9th and 10th, hopefully. We're just down to the last couple of kilometres. Ben, Ness has got to be getting pretty close to the finish now.
Yeah, she is. So Ness had a great sprint. She actually did manage to improve her time. She went through in a 26.6 last time and a 26.5 this time. So a great effort there. She's currently rolling around into 10th, and she's got company in a bunch of Bs who are coming through one after the other. So a bit of a kick, and she might get a bit of a pull to the finish line. So just got the last few corners, and then that 10% push up to the line.
Got the front of the A's are about 5 seconds behind. So looks like they are going to come through this little group of Bs before too long. They're only about 30 seconds back now. We do not have far to go at all. We're just on the last part of the mini loop before we turn left and then right and then ramp up towards the finish. Craig, how's Kim doing? Is she over the top?
Yeah, Kim's over the top. She's coming up the little ramp onto the false flat before the sprint, so she's down the descent as well. Yeah, as far as the race goes, I think the only thing that matters here is the sprint time, because she's got over a minute gap ahead and behind. So a little bit of riding on her own, but still moving through, and pretty consistent power all the way through. So she's paced this well to finish strong.
Lisa's just been overtaken by the front of the A's, but she's put in a really big kick to try and stay with them. And we're just turning left, but quickly switch over to Ben because I think the C's are about to finish.
Yeah, so Ness can see the banner. She's putting in a serious dig to try to get there in good time. Just over 50 minutes now, so can see the front of the A's on the list on the right hand side, and they're not going to catch her. So pushing through, she's going to roll over in 10th with a great effort. That's the C race done. Green effort, Ness. Fantastic riding.
Well done, Ness. And Lisa is just onto the final straight. Before the on the start finish straight, she has Nomez, who is 2 seconds behind, and Arbashar, who's 5 seconds behind. If she can kick on here, she may be able to hang on to 9th place. But not far away at all. Last couple hundred metres, still hanging on to that 2 second lead. And Banner getting ever closer. That 2 second lead is now 3 seconds, so it looks like Lisa is pretty safe for 9th place. And through the banner she goes. Well done, Lisa. Now, this is where I try and do something not at all clever in OBS, so bad things are about to happen.
So while James attempts OBS hijinks, Kim has just gone through the sprint point. She just kind of went through, looked like at FTP, and didn't improve her time, but gave an effort. I'm guessing she's pretty fatigued at this point, 55 minutes in. And we're moving along.
So we won't actually... Go on.
Sorry, go ahead, James.
I was just going to say, we won't actually know who's actually won the race for about another 10-15 minutes whilst I sort the points out after the race. But Kim's down to about the last couple of kilometres in 8th place, so she's done a really good job.
She has, and one of the girls that's behind her had a significant lead for a while, and just blew up on the second lap of Otley. I have to wonder whether she didn't realize the race was 2 laps, because I know that can be pretty dejecting, having done that myself in the past. But no, we're good racing from Kim, and looks like it should be a pretty tame ride into the finish. So she's still riding at pretty good power, staying above 2 watts a kilogram, where with the D limit being 2.5, that's fairly close to threshold. So very strong racing.
Yeah, and we've touched on this being a tough course, but I think especially for your D riders, it's very tough with the amount of climbing that's in there as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tough course because of all the reasons that the three of us love it. It is such a challenging route, and it's hard to get right. And until you work out how to get it right in your own way, you're going to hate it. It's kind of how this route is.
Yeah, and I remember... James, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Tracy that you were riding with in HSRL in HSRL Series 1, and I stuck along with you guys and hit the primes hard, and it was that actually taught me a lot on how to do HSRL. So that was really me kind of learning this course as well as learning the format. So it was that before that I was just absolutely lost on this course.
I think Kim's getting towards the finish now.
Yep, she's making the right-hand turn onto that last ramp. So she's Heading up the ramp, still pretty much the same. Looks like A category straggler and a couple C, and one of the C's is probably going to go by as well. Hopefully, right at the top of this ramp, and maybe get a little bit of extended draft for Kim. Just that a little bit as we lead into the finish. And we can see the finish banner in the distance. Kim is keeping her effort steady, kind of at or above threshold. Really want to get to the end. Really want to get this over with. I have been in this headspace.
The last straight is horrible. When you know there's a big gap in front of a big behind, you just want to finish.
Just want it to be over, but you can't just roll because you don't go anywhere.
No, and on one of these, on a points race, with it's very hard to keep motivated to absolutely charge to the finish line, especially when it's this hard a race.
Yeah, so Kim is putting in a good effort to finish strong. Is up 2.7 and through the line, and so that's our race.
So
James, I got to say, great job filling in while I'm away from my gear and can't do the video for the week.
Yeah, this is stressful.
I've just done my normal thing of sit here, watch good racing, and drink beer. So I'm quite happy.
Thanks to Craig for being with us at 5 o'clock in the morning. Thanks to Ben for joining us from his hotel whilst he's away from home. Also, big thanks to Lisa, Kim, and Ness, who we've been following today, and for everyone who's taken part in this series so far. Big thank you from me and for everyone who's been watching. Catch you for Series 2. This is a bit where I try and work out how to stop it.
I'll refrain from saying something stupid then.
And we are clear.